Okay, moving on to the slightly more complicated section then. Volume. What you've got to remember for volume is this length times width times height. So for this question, I need to work out 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25, times by 5 again is 125. Our units have always got to be cubed, so it'd be centimetres cubed. Question 2. With ratio questions, the best way of doing them, so you can see what's happening, is to draw them out. So to make my jam, I've got 2 ingredients. I've got the sugar and I've got the strawberries. For every 3 parts of sugar, so 3 parts sugar, I use 5 parts strawberries. The question then goes on to say 150 grams is sugar. So these 3 parts is 150 grams. And my question is how many grams of strawberries are there in the jar? Well, I can see if 3 parts is 150, to work out 1 part, I would now need to calculate 150 divided by 3. And 150 divided by 3 is 50. So I know each part is going to have to be worth 50. So going back to the question, how many grams of strawberries do I have? 5 lots of 50. My answer is 250 grams. Question 3. For adding and subtracting fractions, the rule you need to remember is the bottoms have to be the same and they stay the same. So looking at the first one, I'm trying to think, what could I make the bottoms? I've got 4 and 3 on the bottom. Well, 4 and 3 both go into 12. To make 12, I would have to times this one by 3, and I would have to times this one by 4. Timesing this one by 3 would be 9 over 12. Timesing this one by 4 would be 4 over 12. Now my bottoms are the same, they stay the same. 9 take away 4 is 5. Always check, can you simplify? And in this case we can't. Nothing else will go into 5 and 12. For the next one, 3 over 4 plus 4 over 7. I need to make my bottoms the same. So I'm going to times this one by 7 and this one by 4. Timesing this one by 7, I'm going to have 21 over 28. Timesing this one by 4, I would have 16 over 28. So now my bottoms are the same. They stay the same. 21 add 16 is 37. Now what I've got back here is an improper fraction, a top-heavy fraction. So to change that, I say how many 28s go into 37? 1. And there would be 9 left over. So that is your answer as a mixed number. Question 4. To answer question 4, you need to know your prime numbers. So it will help if you write out the first couple down on your exam paper. So the first prime number, 2, 3, 5, 7, 9 isn't prime because 3 goes into it 3 times, 11. So if you write down the first 5, that should help you. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to split the number up using my prime numbers. If you can, start off by halving. So half of 360 would be 180, and 2 is a prime number. Half of 180 is 90, 2 is a prime number. Half of 90 is 45, 2 is a prime number. We can't half 45 exactly, but another number that will go into it would be 5 because it ends in 5. 5 times 9. 9 isn't a prime. I can keep going. And 3 times 3 will give me 9. Now all the ends are circled, I can write my answer. So my answer is 2 times 2 times 2. I'm going to write the next number, which is 3 times 3 times 5. But order shouldn't matter when we times. Now if it's said in index form, you need to use your indices. So I've got 2 to the power of 3 times 3 squared times 5. So 2 cubed times 3 squared times 5 would be your answer. Last question, question 5. I hope you realise that's Pythagoras. You've got two sides and you're trying to find a missing one. The side we're trying to find is called the hypotenuse. It's the side opposite the right angle. And to find it, we've got a little song. And it goes, square, square, add square root, square, square, add square root, square, square, add square root to find the hypotenuse. So for question 5, I need to square, square, add, and on your calculator, because this does normally show up on the calculator paper, so 4 squared, add 6 squared, gives me 52. So I've squared, squared and added. My next step is to square root. So if you find your square root button on the calculator, the square root of 52, to change it to a decimal, I'm going to round it to one decimal place, but in an exam, read it carefully. What does it ask for? So round into one decimal place would be 7.2 centimetres. So that was the first practice, and last weekend you had to complete the second one for homework. These are the answers, if you want to go through it again. So the first 5, 26.4, 40%, 4n plus 2, 80,000, 2x plus 12y. Going over to the other side, 8 centimetres cubed, 60 millilitres, 1/4, 7/12, 2 squared times 5 times 13, and 5.8 to one decimal place. Any problems, just come and see me or ask me in Reg. Thank you.